Silas Corvin was the kind of wealthy man whose name opened doors before he even touched them. His mansion sat on a hill like a crown, its gates tall and unforgiving. People praised his success, his discipline, his vision, but few dared to ask how that vision was built. When Silas took in a young boy, he simply called it charity. The boy's name was Eli. He was 12, thin as a shadow, with hands roughened far too early by work. His parents were gone, lost to hunger and illness. Silas found him near the docks, sleeping beside broken crates, and offered him food, a bed, and what he called purpose. What he gave him instead was a cage with no bars. Eli worked from before sunrise to long after dark. He cleaned marble floors he was never allowed to walk on freely. He carried loads heavier than his own body. Whenever he slowed, Silas would remind him of his debt. Whenever he cried, Silas would remind him that no one else wanted him. "You belong here," Silas would say calmly. "Without me, you are nothing." Years passed. Eli grew taller, but also quieter. His voice faded into silence, but his eyes sharpened. He learned the rhythms of the house, the schedules, the secrets spoken too freely by men who believed a servant boy was invisible. Silas never noticed when Eli stopped flinching. The night everything changed came during one of Silas's grand dinners. The hall was filled with laughter, crystal glasses, and powerful guests praising their host's generosity. Eli moved among them, serving wine with steady, practiced hands. But when Silas stood to boast of his own success, the lights suddenly dimmed. A voice filled the room. It was recorded, trembling, yet unmistakable. It was Silas's own voice, speaking threats, followed by cruel laughter. It detailed contracts hidden behind false charities. It was proof of a child enslaved behind locked doors. Panic spread like fire. Eli stood perfectly still as guards rushed in, as guests stared in horror, and as Silas shouted denials that crumbled under the weight of evidence. For the first time, his power meant nothing. Silas was taken away that night, his wealth frozen, his name ruined. The mansion on the hill became empty stone. Eli was placed in care, and then into school. Healing was slow. Freedom felt unreal at first, too wide, too bright. But each day, he learned something new, that his name mattered, his voice mattered, that he mattered. Years later, Eli returned to the hill, not to the mansion, but to an overlook nearby. He didn't feel anger anymore, just resolve. Silas had believed that wealth could own a human soul. He was wrong. And the boy he tried to erase grew into the living proof that no chain can last forever.